Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. This is Sunset Bob. And I had an interesting dream last night. The old crone came to me and he said, "What's the point?" And the point is, after last night, I kind of got it. I've been concerned about John for the last 7 years. Well, John, as I keep saying, is the canary in the coal mine. I'm more concerned with the human race, and John's just the metaphor, right? He's just the representation, right? I'm the griot, the storyteller, the observer. It's about a psychosocial culture. Forensic anthropological alchemist. And that alchemy, what is that? That is changing base metals into gold. And we are the base metal, the bag of water. 90-something% water. If you trace metals, bingo, here we are. What is this little magic trick of humanity, right? All the other species on the planet were, they are meant to be here. They're meant to be here on the, Garden of Eden. And that's what Earth is, this little green-blue marble in space. It has a big fence around it called the Van Allen radiation belt. We have a thick atmosphere that makes us thick and burns pretty much anything that comes into it up. So why have we spent the good proportion of our existence here killing everything, right? And now we're doing it on an industrial scale, right? And, John's a good example. He, what he said last night, I just put the camera on. I said, I'm not doing that anymore. Well, I guess I needed to do it again because it all he did was repeat the same blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, no matter how evolved or smart or well-adjusted we are, we're just repeating the blah, blah, blah. I've been saying the Lord's Prayer now, virtually a zillion times a day, and it's made me aware that is one of the keys. When I met the old crone, I was looking for the key in that book. I was turning the book around looking for the key, so I could, I couldn't read the stuff. I knew I could transcribe it, translate it, transpose it into something that made sense. And that's what we're doing here. We're here to transpose what's going on to see if it makes sense. And John is more aware that it doesn't make sense, and it's driving him, around the bend. And again, that's not to blame John. John's not to blame. John's an innocent, beautiful child. It's that other part of him. That's the demon. And what is the demon? It's not, the devil made me do it. No. Again, the devil is just an algorithm, basically, and it's there to trick. And the trick is, the mortal sin was we got to exercise, to decide, to use our free will. We were in the Garden of Eden, just like the bovine animals, getting along, being, in the buzz of the creative force. But we were tricked out of the garden. And the thing is, from that point on, oh, we knew we were naked. Oh, it's dirty. Oh, the cat walks by John and he feels something wrong in his genitals. No, there's nothing wrong with. It's just a tool for reproduction. It's not a big deal. And then he goes on and on and on about all kinds of stuff. And we were tricked out of the garden because we are the only one who was created with a free will, and thus, we're like manic trying to work our way back to the garden. To be really good and go to heaven. Heaven's right here. So is hell. All I have to do is go to any war zone to see hell. And the ones in Africa, and that includes Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Those are all North Africa. Those are all places where all of this started. Why do you think it's all getting blown up? Because whatever clue is to who and what we were is in Iraq and Iran and Persia, that whole neck of the woods, and not the Greeks, not the Romans, not the English or the Spanish or the Vatican. Those are allusions to who and what we are. So I advise people to watch the last few shows, right? This one here. What's the point? The point isn't to get all these likes and be a A-lister and make money on my no. Powers that be, who are the only folks who truly watch this show, hey, hire me. Pay me a lot of money, I will assist you, like I've assisted you before, in making sense of all this, right? Now, you're hanging on by your fingernails, this whole, mandate thing is like, no, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You can't, pretty much all through history, it shows it's not going to work. And it's because we're no longer in the Piscean age. We're in the Aquarian age. Definitely not going to work. In China, man, you really want your shit to work? You should hire me. Because, putting everyone in a digital straitjacket is not going to work, The United States was, had some good ideas of turning it into a amusement park, but that's not going to work, And England turned it into a bank, and the Vatican's turned it into a jail, and none of those things are going to work. Hey, James. John's in the whatever form he's going to be in, but I'm talking right now that, last night and the last few days has made me realize that it's like, what's the point? What is the point? Why are we here? And, it's not to be in a digital straitjacket. It's not to be in an amusement park. It's not to, all the rest of the animals on this Garden of Eden are genetically engineered to survive here very nicely. Everything they are fits in to the Garden of Eden. We, the mud puppets, Homo sapien sapien, human beings, we are not meant or designed to be here. We're destroying it on an industrial scale. What is the point, James? Jamie Hillier, Rubis, what is the point? Why are we here? And that is the whole essence of Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Alba. Why are we here? Right? So, this is where the cadre in the chat. It's not to like, oh, you're so cool. No kidding. But it's still just a petri dish here, a lab experiment, It, unless he is the point, I'm the observer, I'm the storyteller. I do all kinds of things here, and he doesn't appreciate anything I do. I clean, I'm just totally, fix things, make the meals, do the shopping, do all that, And 3 years ago, I left here, right? I came back to tie up the loose ends, to see, what it is. What is there any benefit? You said, John benefits usually from my presence. What is it? Point is exhausting depression. Life gives us the opportunity. That is it. I want to shoot myself. I want to kill No, sorry, that's not it. That's not the opportunity. The opportunity is to grow, move forward, right? To love in everything you do. Do your best in love's co-creation. Well, it's a kindergarten. This. It'll always be this way. Yes, exactly. It's not changing, right? Mastery and servitude, right? Service to loves. And there's a difference between servitude and service. Servitude is like you're in jail. Service is you choose, to do and be love's co-creation. That's what we are meant to be. That's what we, and we were put in this little sandbox to learn how to do that so we can go forth, and that's why the rest of the universe is dark matter, because it's waiting for us to shine the light. Now, there have been plenty of folk here to give us a good example, right? And all we've turned them into is to T-shirts, So that's the story of this, right? And this channel's being allowed to be here by the powers that be, and kept down on the farm, right? And that's okay, Like I said, I don't need to be, the super duper star. I already am. That's the thing. We already are, all of us. The thing is to be understanding of who and what we are, and go for it. Billions of years. We've been here billions of years, right? And same old same. Yep. And but the thing is, every nanosecond we have the opportunity not to do the same old same, right? We have the opportunity to share it up. I watch David Icke and what's his name, Mr. Max Igon, and the people go, and a guy JP. Awareness with JP, and Mr. Dark Journalist. Now they're all going on in a very their own interesting way, but still the same old same, right? They're all inching towards, Babylon, uh, we're all trying to get what it is, right? And things are moving in a direction where they can't be the same old same. The powers that shouldn't be, the hidden hand is just hanging on by their fingernails. They wouldn't, what they're doing in Canada. Canada, the most polite place, is trying to be a fascist state. To be the example, along with New Zealand. New Zealand was another amazingly beautiful, um, generous, kind place, right? And so was the Mideast. I was there in the early to middle part of before 1976. I twigged on how to go traveling through the world, and I went to all those places. And it's kind of where you start from. I was starting from Sweden, that everyone thought was just, the most neutral place you could think of. And I sure wasn't it. But, every time I got on an airplane from there, I had a visa saying, I was visiting Syria and Iraq and Libya and places such as that. And Afghanistan, all those places. And they were amazingly great places. The people were great, great hospitality, great generosity. Great. If you read the Quran, it's all about that. You read the Bible, it's all about that. It's not about, force and pain and all the other stuff. In the Old Testament, all those folks like Job, they were all in service, right? How could Job stand all that? When people go on about, oh, I suffered so much. It's beyond my belief. Meaning, I needed to do those 10 years of total hedonism, gain 240 pounds, and die, and then come back. Because right now, my body, every joint in my body, I can barely see. My brain is killing me, and I have to readjust myself, shamanically, spiritually, so my body works and I'm not in such great pain, so I can hear. Right now, there's a buzzing on in my ears, right over here from this, and me talking. It's really tough for me to talk, right? Because my esophagus is in a direction that wasn't designed to be in. And my jaw is like about, 40 degrees away from, it's back in this way. And so, my mouth does not form words well. And early in the morning, none of these things work until I meditate. And I decided not to meditate first before I did this gesture. You can kind of get the picture, right? So, life, I want to just kill myself. Oh, I'm suffering. So, no, come on, give me a break. This is Garden of Eden. Life is, we are given it to understand, right? To work things out. That's the point, right? Not to become famous, not to be an A-lister, not to be this, not to be that, not to have a ton of money, not to have any of the above. They're all illusion. It is to serve love's co-creation. We are making new things. Why do we have children? We're trying to make new things. And then we poison that new thing with the same old same, And, that's where we're at, So let's see some ideas here. Let's see. Let's see. The book Forbidden Archaeology. Yep, 2 point. Yep, we've been here millions of years. Hail. Fish. Every nanosecond. Indeed, this experience is so beautifully orchestrated by the spiritual hierarchy. Read the book God Speaks for more info. Yeah, I read that book. Yep. And again, when you read a book like that, what you need to do is not read word by word, but those words open up that experience, right? The realization, that we've been actually here for billions of years rather than a few thousand, just shows that, the Vatican, who is really the head scientist, is trying to control the narrative, and it just doesn't. You just look into, as we get instruments. Your phone now is a supercomputer that can look deeper into the universe than anything else, right? So we have all the tools we need. Instead of watching porno and masturbating, we should be trying to find the point. Now, not to say masturbation it doesn't have its good points. Masturbation is there because we are designed to reproduce. We're like horny dogs, right? We're always like guys are always humping somebody's leg, so as not to have to do that. We kind of grow old for a reason. So we not burn out, but use up those hormones that make us horny all the time. Not to say your libido dies. No, it's still there, but it's not the main thing. Between the ages of 10 and 25, that's when you should be reproducing if you're going to. And then once you have a new unit, you cherish it. You take care of it. You teach it, because when you teach your child, you're learning. That thing, when the father is about to, whip the child, it's going to hurt me more than it is going to you. It is, because it dehumanizes the parent. It makes them cruel, right? You start whipping that kid, and certain hormones get off, and you really, why did slaves, their backs being torn up? Because once the slave keeper started whipping them, the cortisol, the adrenaline, it made them worse and worse. That's why slavery is such a no-win scenario. No matter how you do it, whether you do it by chaining them up and whipping them, or you chain them up with stuff, and you give them money, so they can buy useless crap to be made by other slaves in other parts of the world, so they can get money and have useless crap. We live on a planet of abundance, and we need to realize this, and realize that everyone should have what they need to find what the point is, right? And so, I'm going to go back to the deep green once it gets warmish, which should be any day now. I should be able to survive in the forest in a week or so. So, and I'm still tying up the loose ends, and people who I've done that with kind of realize, Al's been gone for 3 years, and now he's back, and now he's doing this stuff, making me think of that stuff. And they're getting, there's a number of people I could stay with here who I've talked to that they're going, he's saying he's never coming back. No, if he needs to stay on my couch, I can let him stay on my couch for a few days. That's kind of, as long as he doesn't move in. So, and John realizes that. He was, if you watched last night's show, he was a different guy than the guy who was screaming and yelling at you earlier in the morning. Get out. Anyway, so that's generally what the point is, right? So I just wanted to touch base with you all later, Al. Bad reception here. Hugs. Yep. I'm leaving too. So, but I'll come back later this afternoon, and then maybe tonight, right? So that's why I'm doing all these shows, to kind of get everyone thinking, right? If you can't think, if you can't find the point, if you can't work at that, instead of worrying about putting tires on your car, which I have to go worry about. I have to go fix my car. I'll be able to have cash to eat. So if you want to send me some money, you can at the dudewake42@gmail when you go to PayPal. PayPal says, who is it? dudewake42@gmail. Want to talk to me on the email? dudewake42@gmail. Want to talk to me on the old chat? I'll be back this afternoon. And then this evening. Okie doke. Okay. Love you guys.